Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I'm pleased that we could come together for this occasion of ceremony and celebration concerning two successful grant applications that will certainly benefit Waynesboro's downtown and our community generally. It's my privilege to introduce and welcome our special guests, Virginia's Lieutenant Governor Bill Bolling, Waynesboro's Delegate to the General Assembly, Mr. Dickey Bell, Mr. Bill Shelton, Executive Director for the Department of Housing and Community Development. We're pleased also to have Mr. Quentin Kendall, the Regional Vice President with CSX Railroad, Mr. Gail Wilson from Buckingham Branch Railroad. Mr. Wilson is also the President of the Virginia Railroad Association. We have our members of Council, Vice Mayor Bruce Allen, Councilman Tim Williams, Councilman Jeff Freeman. We are all very grateful that our guests who have traveled were able to do so, and we're honored by your presence. We also have some special guests. I know board members from the WDDI, and I've noticed several board members from Waynesboro's Economic Development Authority. Thank you as well for coming. Before we proceed with the program, please allow me to offer a very brief and personal expression of gratitude to those who have made contributions bringing our community to this point, to the private property owners downtown and the business operators downtown. We appreciate the commitment that you've made to our central downtown business district, to the Waynesboro Redevelopment Housing Authority, and to WDDI, who have been partnering agencies on these two grant applications and other initiatives aimed at improving and revitalizing our downtown. And finally, and perhaps dearest to my heart, to the municipal staff, who have devoted considerable concentration and effort not only to these two initiatives, but initiatives through the previous years, dating back perhaps a decade and a half. Each of you have contributed to this moment, and each of you rightly share in the success that we celebrate today. It's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Bill Shelton, Executive Director for the Department of Housing and Community Development. That department manages and oversees the Main Street program and the Community Development Block Grant program, through which the grants awarded today are provided. Mr. Shelton.
Thank you, Mike. It's a pleasure to be here today and represent the Department of Housing and Community Development. A pleasure to be here with the Lieutenant Governor and Delegate Bell and other distinguished guests, certainly our colleagues from CSX and the Railroad Association. This is a great partnership coming together. And Waynesboro is a great example of what communities can do when they put concerted effort towards community revitalization. The city's downtown development initiatives are very representative of this community and the individual efforts that all the stakeholders involved have put forward and show the great commitment. And this just doesn't happen in every community. It only happens with concerted effort and focus, and you certainly have brought that to the table. The city and its partners in the past have worked with us on a variety of initiatives. You are a designated Virginia Main Street community. That's a real high-quality brand. There are very few communities that receive that designation. But you also are a Virginia Enterprise Zone, which is very important and brings benefits to businesses. And you brought those programs together in ways that help your community. The city has a well-developed and thought-out economic development strategy. And that's how these programs can come to Waynesboro, because every community wants them, but we want to pick communities for these programs where there's a good chance of success. And so the quality of the strategy and your efforts certainly positions you well for these programs. Your plan for your downtown capitalizes on assets. We're on the banks of the river, South River, which is one of those key assets, and you have branded yourself as a gateway both to the national park and to outdoor recreation. I think that's a brilliant strategy for Waynesboro, as well as the other business interests that you have in the community. Implementation of the plan will expand those outdoor recreational opportunities and establish this area as a significant destination for outdoor recreation and tourism, a key component of our state's economy. You'll soon see physical improvements happening. The downtown storefronts will be improved, which will be visual, but we're in this business not for visual improvement, but for economic improvement. And so we're looking forward to new businesses coming in and businesses expanding, seeing new jobs and investment. That's what it's all about, and this really is about economic development in Virginia. Lieutenant Governor Bolling is the Governor's Chief Economic Development advocate and certainly has led the charge this past year with the Jobs Creation Commission. I had the pleasure to work with him. The Main Street program was enhanced this year, and there are new resources coming, and this will position the community well going forward. So again, we're pleased to be here, proud to be part of the initiative, and we think you're doing great things, and we will be here for the long haul with you, working with you all the way through this process. Thank you so much.
Thank you all very much, and good morning. What a great day it is to be here on the banks of the South River, and to I always love presenting checks. It's just a wonderful thing to do when you can go into a community and leave a little tangible something behind, and show your commitment to good projects that are being worked on. I was thinking two things as we walked over here this morning. First of all, I'm glad we weren't doing this yesterday, because it was about 100 degrees, I think, at this time yesterday morning, and what a perfect day we have today. And the second thing I was thinking was the last time that I was here was for the Virginia Fly Fishing and Wine Festival on this site, and the river was just about up to the top of the bank. You remember that day when the rains had come in and the river was really up? But it is beautiful today, and thank you all for letting us be here. I'm delighted that my wife, Jean Ann, who's over there someplace, is joining me today. And Jean Ann and I spend a lot of time in Waynesboro. Some of you may not know this. We have a little place up at Wintergreen. I'm embarrassed to say it's on the Nelson County side of the Blue Ridge Drive, but in fact, we were just here Sunday, had lunch at the Shoney's, and went shopping at the Walmart and Books A Million out in the shopping center. So we did our part to help support the local economy. But let me say just a couple things about why we are here today. I want to thank Bill Shelton and his team at the Department of Housing and Community Development. They administer this community development block grant program for us. And as you might imagine, there are a lot of projects all across the state competing for some very limited dollars. And these guys have the unenviable job of deciding where that money goes. But we are delighted today that out of the awards that we were able to make this year, we will be presenting a check to the City of Waynesboro for your downtown revitalization project in the amount of $770,000. And hopefully that will be of some support to you as you go about implementing this wonderful program. Also, I want to thank our friends from CSX. One of the things that we did this year as a part of our economic development plan was we put some more money for the first time in a long time in the Virginia Main Street program. And then we had a good partner in that effort in CSX who stepped up to the table and said, look, we'd like to put up a little money too to match some of that money to help support communities throughout our service area. And all across the state, we've had the opportunity through CSX's support to do more than we would have otherwise been able to do. And today we're also going to be presenting a check, it's for $7,500, I believe, Quentin, from CSX to help support these projects as well. You all have some wonderful things taking place here in Waynesboro. And the thing that excites me most about this project is the effort that it makes to not just revitalize the downtown area, but then tie that downtown area together with the wonderful things that you have taking place here on the South River. And trust me, I know firsthand how great they are, because I have waded this trout stream many times with my fly rod in hand. It's just a wonderful asset. And the thing that I want to, I guess, get across this morning is there was a time in Virginia when we thought of economic development as being over here. We thought of community development as being over here. And we thought of tourism as being over here. And the three never intersected. We reject that notion. You know, we believe that there is a very clear connection between our economic development programs, our community revitalization programs, and our tourism programs. Community revitalization is economic development. When we do wonderful projects, thank you, you can applaud for that, that's okay. But when we do wonderful projects like this, it helps create a more livable community. And a more livable community makes it easier for us to go out and recruit new business and industry and jobs to a community. And goodness knows tourism is a vital part of Virginia's economy. It is an $18 billion industry in our state. It employs over 200,000 Virginians. So when you can combine those three things together, It just creates a win-win-win proposition for everyone involved, and that is exactly what you're doing here today. I had the privilege of being here just a few months ago as we broke ground on the expansion of PGI's facility just on the other side of Interstate 64. Don't think for a minute that the quality of life that people enjoy in this community wasn't a big factor in PGI deciding that they were going to expand their facility here as opposed to in North Carolina. It was. You've got to have all of those things. All of those wings have to be flapping in the same direction at the same time. And you all have been able to achieve that here, and it just excites me to see the way that you've been able to put all of that together. So I applaud the local leadership for the effort that you've made, the members of City Council who are with us this morning, the members of the Industrial Development Authority, your Economic Development team, your Tourism team, your Chamber of Commerce. It takes everybody working together on the local level to put great projects like this together and make them work. I want to thank our partners in the General Assembly, Dickie Bell, who is with us here today. Emma Hanger was supposed to be here today, but you just never know about him. You never know if he's going to show or not. And obviously he got a better offer this morning. But I will tell you that Emmett and Dickie and Steve Landis have been wonderful partners in supporting our jobs and opportunity agenda, our opportunity at work agenda. With their help in the last 2 years, we've invested over $80 million of new funding in economic development and job creation programs in our state. And this year we're going to be asking for a little more to add on top of the progress that we've made these past 2 years. And then let me just close, and we're going to present these checks in a little bit, but let me just close by saying this. It is paying off. In the last 18 months, we have, through all these efforts, we've been able to close a little over 500 economic development deals all across our state, deals like the PGI deal that we were able to secure here in Waynesboro. We have created, the last numbers I saw, 67,400 net new jobs in Virginia in the last 18 months. That is the 8th highest number of net new jobs created in the nation. We've been able to bring our unemployment rate down from 7.2% to 6%, and it's continuing to fall, and that's a good thing. And then now we're beginning to see that economic development pay off. Last year we were able to end our fiscal year with a $400 million budget surplus, and next week the governor and I will be announcing the results from the most recent fiscal year, and I won't steal any thunder on that, but I will tell you that those numbers have turned out even better than we thought they were going to turn out. So we will be announcing next week another significant budget surplus. That all comes about because of economic growth and economic development. And the one message that I try to take everywhere I go is that it is economic growth, it is economic development, it is job creation that creates the rising tide that can help lift every ship out of the grip that the recession has had on us for the past 2 or 3 years. We've made a lot of progress, we have a lot of work left to do, but it's through projects like these, one step at a time. It's through projects like these that we're going to see that growth continue, and hopefully those numbers grow even stronger. So I want to thank you all for being here today, and thanks for letting us be here today. And are we going to present the check? What's the plan, now or later? Commonwealth of Virginia for $770,000. This one you can't spend, but the real check is in the mail. I hope.
Just fill it a little bit more. If you want to come right between on the backside a little bit. Yeah.
I'm not going to let go of it.
1, 2, 3. One, two, three.
Got it? I'd spend this one before we go bankrupt.